Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Kathy at Attic Treasures, etc. Welcome back if you've been here before, and if this is your first time, a very special welcome to you too. So I am back here working with the Memories of the Meadow kits from Attic Treasures and CollageType. This is a guest collaboration design team type thing. And in my last video, I made this beautiful cover using the frame, and then the inside of the cover is from I think they're from CollageType. So all of these are in their Etsy shops, which will be listed below. And last year's kits, that some of those pieces may be incorporated in this. I'm not sure which ones are which, but last year's kits for both of them are on sale through the month of May. So my videos post on Friday during the month of May. And so this is my third video. I did go ahead and finish off the cover. The inside, I just put some lace here, and then I had some leftover fabric paper that I used to cover that. So that's all done. And I've gone ahead and picked out some papers that I want to use inside. My intention is to have 3 signatures, but it may only be able to accommodate 2 by the time I'm done, because what I made this out of, it's a little bit more narrow at the spine, a little bit smaller. So we'll see how it goes. And if it only takes 2 signatures, then I've got a signature ready to go for the next one. So let's go ahead. I'll show you what I have. So each signature so far has 6 pieces of paper that I'm going to be using inside. So that makes 24 pages, because 6 times, no, is that right? Yeah, 6 times 4 is 24. So you count each one 2 times to account for the, or 4 times to account for the front and the back. And then also in each signature, I'm using 3 of the Memories of the Meadow pages and 3 of my own pages from coffee dyed paper or scrapbook paper. And since I didn't have very much coffee dyed paper left, I copied it onto printer paper. And this is on the back of some scrapbook paper that I had already. And then this is a print of a coffee dyed paper that I did using beet juice and a plastic doily. And then just the regular, you know, not beet juice, it's just regular coffee printed on the back. And this one is, I used the same doily, but it was on coffee, you know, using coffee, and then this was a different doily. And then 3 of the Memories of the Meadow pages with some coffee dyed paper printed on the back. So that is that signature. And I haven't really decided what order I'm going to be putting them in yet. It just kind of depends. And so these are my 3 Memories of the Meadow pages that I'm going to be using in this signature. And then I've got, this is also scrapbook paper that I printed coffee dyed paper on the back. And then some more of the ones with the beet juice and more of the plain. So that's signature number 2. And then signature number 3 has, this one has 4 of the Memories of the Meadow pages. And they're all really, really pretty. So this one has 2, like 2 of the same, but we'll, you know, intersperse them. And then some beet dyed paper with doily and printed on the back with regular coffee dyed paper. And I've gone ahead and I've inked around everything. I've also cut all the papers to size. The biggest they can be in the type of cover that I'm using is 8 by 10, so I did cut everything down and sewed around them. And then I have 3 papers here from a scrapbook pad. I'll show you that. I think I found this at Walmart and just couldn't pass it up. And it has absolutely beautiful, beautiful designs in it. So I'm using 3 from this paper pad to do my signature covers. I just like signature covers. They're totally optional. Nobody needs to do them, but I love to do them. So I've got these, and I cut them a little bit bigger than 8 by 10, just so that, you know, it looks like the pages kind of fit inside them. And then I have, to decorate the backs of them, I have some napkins that I want to decoupage on. And then also some vintage music sheet. And this music sheet is really old, and you can see it's super brittle, so I can't really bend it or fold it without it cracking. So what my intention is to you know, kind of tear it and put it, glue it onto the backs of these scrapbook papers, and then decoupage over them with napkins, and then we'll, you know, decorate a little bit on the front as well. So we'll just kind of see where that takes me. And then I also have printed out from the Memories of the Meadow some journal cards, and, you know, these little notes, and some of them I printed coffee dyed paper on the back in case you see the back. So I've got a few of those. This one I may cut up and use as tags. Same with this one, because it's really too big to fit inside the journal as a page. And then I've got also some pockets and tuck spots that I printed out. I guess that's upside down for you. There we go. Well, the writing is, anyway. So I've got some of those, and then some more of these little journal cards, and then some more pockets. So we'll just see where everything takes me. You know, making a journal is kind of a journey in itself. And then I also have some of these scraps from where I cut the paper down. So we'll see if we can use those in some fashion as well. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the camera for a second and get set up to start doing some decoupage. So I'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing I think I would like to do is to cut down the borders, or cut off the borders of these music sheets, these music pages. They tear really, really, really easy. And you probably already know this, but it just seems to work better if you have, when you're tearing paper, if you have the big part, that's what you grab to tear, instead of trying to, like, put the ruler here and then tear off the little part. It works better, in my experience, to tear off the larger portion. So my plan here is to get it torn down and then measure to the middle of the paper, you know, the scrapbook paper, and then just glue it to the center so that I don't have to worry about bending it. So I'm going to fold this in half. And then I'm going to glue this to the half, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side. And I'm going to do that to all three of them, so that, you know, not everything has to be exactly the same, but if you can have some cohesion, you know, I don't know if cohesion is a good word, you know, I think I better get some more glue. I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay, so I buy these by the 4-pack from Amazon, and it's a lot cheaper than when you get them at Joann Fabrics. But now that I've emptied this box, I think I'll save it and use it for tags. Anyway, this is really good glue stick. It's Scotch Create permanent multi-purpose glue stick. Okay, little change of plan here. To save myself a little bit of time, I'm going to take all of these and we're going to do this kind of like an assembly line. Okay, I'm going to get the rest of these torn down and then I'll be right back. All right, so I just wanted to show you kind of how I'm doing this. I'm not going to overlap the music sheet pages. I'm just going to not quite butt them together in the center, but I'm going to leave a little tiny bit of a gap just so that nothing gets torn or anything like that when I'm folding it. There's no interference. I'm just getting this all covered with glue, and then I'm literally just going to butt it. It's, you know, close, but not right up against there. So you can see that little bit of a gap right there in the center. And then the excess is going to get torn off and everything is going to get inked around again. So since this is probably not something that anybody really wants to watch me do, I'm going to do it off camera and come back when these are all done, so that I'll have the music pages on the insides of the scrapbook paper and then inked around. Okay, I shall return forthwith. All right, so now I'm back and I've got the back sides of the scrapbook paper covered with the music sheet, and they look really good. And to get it, you know, I mean, I tore to the edge, but it left a really jagged edge. So because this paper's so brittle, so it just kind of tore off in a jagged way. So I just used this little sanding block. It is, I guess that's 220 grit, and I just lightly sanded the edges so that they got nicely evened up. So now I'm gonna grab my water brush here. I'm going to decoupage some of the flowers on here from the napkins. So I'm going to start with, I wanted to start with the blue one. So let's do this one. And I'm using, let's see, trying to remember which one I had decided to do. So I'm going to use this blue napkin. And I'm not going to just cover the whole sheet with napkin. I mean, I could, but instead of doing that, I'm going to kind of take my water brush and tear around some of these flowers so that it's not all, you know, one big thing. So, excuse me. So let's just start with that. This is just a regular little water brush I picked up at Michael's, or Michael's, I think. Michael's or Joann. And I'm just using it just to wet around these flowers. And then that way when I tear them, it'll tear in a more organic way. It has, you know, just kind of this nice feathery edge. And then it looks better than if you just cut them with scissors, which you can also do. And I have done that before, but I really like the way it turns out when I do it this way. Now I am kind of a napkin holic, if you will, because I really love using napkins in decoupage as soon as I learned how to do it. Now this one has the the branding there, and I don't really want the branding in my picture or in my collage, so I'm gonna take that flower out. You could leave it in, I guess, if you wanted to, but for me, I just really don't want to. Okay, so let's see how this is coming so far. So I'm going to take a little bit more of this napkin. Because I really like the music sheet itself too. I don't want to cover up all of the music. See how easily that tears off? And you get it wet. And maybe we could put a little bit on the bottom. I suppose I could do it kind of like that too. And you know, it doesn't all have to be from one napkin, does it? We could use some of this napkin as well. How's the weather where you've been? Man, it has been so hot here, which is really unusual for where we are in Western Washington. It's a little bit cooler today, but it still feels hot here in my craft room. Okay, so I'm satisfied with the way that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and decoupage these pieces on and then set it aside to dry while I do the others. I'm using Distress Collage Medium, and you can use any kind of glue, any kind of white glue, but I really have been very satisfied with this, especially for decoupage. I love how you can see the music page beneath the napkin. Who knew napkins could be so much fun? I have far too many packages of napkins at the moment. It's one of those things that I just can't seem to resist. So I've told myself to stay out of those kinds of places or just to walk past them. You know, if I see napkins in like places like Walmart or Dollar Tree, because I have more than enough. First person I saw do this was Natasha on Treasure Books. I consider her my mentor. And I thought, oh my goodness, that looks so cool. And since then, of course, I've seen other video YouTubers do similar. But yeah, this opened up a whole new world of art to me. If you've never done this before, my recommendation is to get a soft brush. I was using those foam brushes that you can find at Dollar Tree for quite a while, but they kept breaking on me. And I was watching a Tim Holtz live, and he had this Distress Collage Medium brush. So I thought I would get that, and man, I'm totally hooked on this brush. And you know, any wide soft brush would probably do, but this is definitely my go-to brush for this process. The only thing is you have to remember to rinse it out when you're done, otherwise it gets really hard. And I've accidentally left it wrapped in a baby wipe overnight, which, you know, I can wrap it in a baby wipe for the duration of my project, at least for the day. But then you have to go rinse it out because the baby wipe dries, and then, you know. Okay, so let's see, let's smooth this out a little bit. And you want to work from the center and go out, and just be real careful, delicate around the edges. Okay, I'm going to set this aside to dry and get working on the next one. But I really like the way that looks, and I think that fits the theme of the memories of the meadow real well. Now we've got this kind of purplish one, sort of a lavender. All right, now we do the same thing. We just figure out, you know, what flowers we want where. And I really like this this cluster right here. So I wanted to incorporate that somehow, maybe with this rose, but that might be too big. You know what, I'm going to start with this piece right here. It's okay to change your mind when you're crafting. I keep telling myself, it's my project, I'm the boss of it. I don't really get to be the boss of anything, so. It's gentle smoothing. Try to get any air bubbles out. And you might still get some air bubbles. Sometimes that happens. It's not the end of the world. I've had several pieces where there were some air bubbles in it, and you know what? The world is still turning. Oh, it looks really pretty. Wouldn't you agree that these flowers they just make the music sheet really come to life, I think. Okay, let's see what else can we pull out of here. Let's try this little piece right here. Right there. That works for me. As you can see, I'm making a bit of a mess. Oh, I like that. And I think maybe just a little bud on this page. Okay, I'm going to let this dry. And I'm not going to trim it until after it's dry. Now I want to work with some of this napkin. The thing about this napkin is that it repeats the same pattern in two different orientations. So these are the same and these are the same, and they're opposite of those. And I don't really want that. So back to my trusty water brush. My husband's out working in the backyard on the area next to our existing patio. We're extending it, but instead of using cement, we're going to take the gravel that we have in the middle of the yard for a fire pit and move it in the area next to our existing patio. And then we're going to take the area that's out in the middle of the yard and put some raised beds there. We bought a gas fire pit so as not to disturb our neighbor. We had a wood fire pit out there in the middle of the yard, surrounded by cinder blocks and planters and stuff like that. And it was really cute. Solar lights and stuff. But every time we burned wood, when it was warm enough to be out there to burn wood, the neighbor behind us and to the, kind of kitty corner has asthma, and it was warm out, so she had the windows open, and consequently the fire that we were burning was really hard on her breathing, and we felt really bad about that. We want to be good neighbors, so that's why we bought a gas fireplace, and we can, have it closer to the house, and so it won't make smoke, not wood smoke anyway, and it won't bother her. And then we'll have some raised beds out there where the fire pit used to be. I think she has asthma or COPD or both. And that we don't need to be antagonizing our neighbors that way. We had no idea, when we put the fire pit out there, that it was going to cause trouble for someone. When it's hot and she doesn't have air conditioning, she doesn't want to have the windows closed at night, which I don't blame her. So rather than making her adjust, because that wouldn't be very nice. It's not her fault. She has asthma. We decided to adjust our situation. So at any rate, it's a lot of work, and he's been digging out. It's kind of on a slope, so that adds to the to the degree of difficulty. So he's had to grade it all by hand, and it's going to put some 4x4s around it, just to kind of dress it up a little bit. And he's at the point now where he's able to put the 4x4s in as a border around the, where the new fire pit is going. But I'm anxious to get the raised beds in, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to plant anything this year. Oh well, that's the way it goes. It'll be so nice when it's all done. There's an area next to the fence that needs to be rototilled, and it's just a chain link fence, which means I can plant stuff next to it that I would want to climb up, like, I don't know, maybe zucchini or something. So that stuff will be planted in the ground, but it can grow up the fence, the chain link fence, like a trellis. We started all this project last year, and I expected it to be done last year. This is getting difficult here. But it just got to be more work than we had envisioned. So if it gets done this year or next year, it will get done eventually. But I think I'm going to have to learn how to use the rototiller, because I don't know if he's going to be able to get to that part of it this year, and if it's something maybe that I can do, I'm happy to do it. It just all takes time. Okay, I'm going to let this one dry. Let's see how the first one is doing. That looks pretty good. I'm going to cover this entire sheet with the Distress Collage Medium, just to kind of seal in the music sheet so that it doesn't, I don't know, just to preserve it, I guess. Okay, I'm going to do that with the other two as well, and then I'll be back when I'm done with that. All right, so while those are drying, I'm going to take some of these beautiful papers and I'm going to fussy cut some of these flowers out to decorate the fronts of the journal covers, or the signature covers rather. I'm just going to start with a rough cut, and obviously they're going to need to be trimmed down because these are quite a bit taller than my page will allow. But I always just like to start off with just kind of a big rough cut, and then I will trim down as needed. Just trying to figure out how I want to put these on here, just to kind of decorate. See about maybe using some of these scraps. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, so let's put this one on first, but I want to give this edge, you know, the long edge, a bit of interest. So first of all, let's do that. Then I'm going to take these ripple scissors. I'm just going to glue that on with glue stick here. And then I want to put this like that, but yeah, I'll go ahead and ink the edge here. The outside edges will all get inked too, but I'm going to save that for last. Oh, look at that, it's exactly the right length. All right, now I'm just going to use glue stick and glue this down, and maybe put a butterfly or something on it. Okay, so I cut this out of you know, one of the sheets that came from Memories of the Meadow. It says My Dreams, and I want to attach it to this piece of lace to put here on this part of the signature cover. But first I want to emboss it. I'm going to set that aside there, and I'm going to use antique linen embossed glaze. And the embossed glaze is by Distress by Ranger, and I really like the glaze because it's translucent, meaning you can see through it once the glaze is on there. So I'm just putting some of this embossing dauber, you're using it to put the ink on, and then I'll just sprinkle this on and then emboss it. All right, I'm going to emboss this and be right back. All right, it's embossed. Now I'm going to just ink around it with ground espresso, Distress Oxide, just to get rid of some of those white edges, give it a little bit more definition. And then I'm going to sew it onto that piece of lace. Or actually, I'm just going to take this and sew around it, and then I'm going to glue it to the piece of lace. Okay, we're almost done with this one. And then I think I'm going to stop the video because it's getting really long. Okay, that goes right there. And then the last thing I want to add is this lace using Fabri-Tac. Okay, so I think this one is done. And rather than do the other two on camera, first I want to just go ahead and do a little check here. So I put one of the signatures inside, and I have the signatures inside the other two journal covers as well, which I haven't started working on yet, just to see how it's all going to fit. And that's going to fit really, really well. You know, because once we get pockets and tags, and I'll probably put some paper doilies and things like that in there too, it'll start to really fill up. So I'm going to call it done for now, even though we only really got one whole journal cover done, but we also went ahead and we got the insides done of all three, so you can see them. Picked out my papers and got the insides done on all three, and they'll eventually get inked all in the middle and all around too. I already inked these before I glued the music sheet on. But anyway, I think this is long enough for now, and I will continue working on the whoops, here we go. Lost track of what I was doing. I'm going to continue working on the journal cover, or the signature covers, and when I come back next Friday, we'll go ahead and decorate the pages and possibly get this whole thing all finished up. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed. If you have and you're here back, thank you so much for joining me again. And I will see you on my next video. So happy crafting, everybody, and let the serendipity find you. And have a great, wonderful rest of the weekend. Bye-bye, everybody.